Hey y'all, this is Judith of judithtomorrow.com, Judith Tomorrow Design, and this is the fourth of four videos on what creates transformative space. The first video was about what is transformative space, and we talked about intactness and wholeness of the space. The second video was about how to start teaching yourself to notice when a space is whole or when it's not, by paying attention to your body and how it's reacting to a space. And the third one, which was last week, was about the noticing practice, which is starting to notice what physical objects and environments elicit certain emotions from you, emotions that you want, maybe abundance, sense of security, sense of trust, that sort of a thing. So this week is the last video, and it is about one of the steps that is actually super important and is very overlooked in most placemaking processes, and that is the act of actually claiming the space. Claiming the space has two parts. I explain it as having two parts. The first one is an internal part. The second one is an external part. The first part is essential for the second part to actually work. And the first part is an internal decision to actually claim it. I know that might sound really obvious and kind of duh, but oftentimes when we get to that place where we actually understand what it is that we want, we either skip straight over to having a dialogue with ourselves about why we can't have it, or we do any number of other things that sort of dismiss the reality that that's what we want, that we want that quality in our space, we want that object in our space, we want that feeling in our space. And I think this actually goes back to many women and often many men as well, a resistance to taking up space. A lot of the people that I work with are people who are givers and servers, and they're empaths, and they notice other people's feelings. And so for us, that can be extra tricky to actually step into taking up space, because there's sort of this mental idea that if I'm taking up space, then I'm taking it from somebody else, or that I'm bigger than my britches, or any number of critical thought processes that come in. So once you've actually learned the previous things from the previous videos, noticing how you're reacting and noticing what you like, the next step is actually to say to yourself, these are the things that I want, and I'm willing to have them in my space. I am important enough to have them in my space. I am important enough to have this kind of space. And my work, if it's about a workspace, or even if it's not, my work and the things that I do, the things that I value, the things that care for me, those are important enough to take up space as well. It's a big deal, actually. It may not seem like it, but it's a big deal. And it actually takes a little bit of time. You have to sort of reaffirm it many times until that decision is sort of fully made. The second part of claiming your space is the external aspect of claiming it. So once you've made the decision, then the next thing is to actually do it. I know, another duh, but actually take the actions, no matter how small, no matter if it's just, okay, I've discovered I really like this kind of scent in my room, or I've discovered that I really like a certain kind of light, or a certain kind of object, or pictures of your family. Making that small change, I call it placemaking. It's an incremental process. Once you start moving in that direction, once you say, okay, I'm going to just make this move, and then I'm going to make this move, and then I'm going to make this move, that is actually the process of claiming your space. It doesn't have to be this big, harsh, setting up barriers or anything like that to make sure it's your space. It's actually the process, the physical process of allowing yourself to settle onto this earth with all the things that you love. Because the things that you love are actually the things that expand you and support you and allow you to be great and good and huge on this earth. They're not frivolous. Joy is really that part of you that is allowing yourself to be big. So that is my last talk on transformative space. I hope it's been super helpful. The claiming your space and many of these other concepts I go into more fully in my class, Home Office Like You Mean It, how to create a home office like you mean it. It's at homeofficelikeyoumeenit.com. You can see when the next one's up. At this point, when I'm doing this video, there's one coming up at the end of September, which is in a few weeks, and I hold them about every couple times a year. So if you're interested in that class, it's down in the comments. There's a link in the video description, and please check it out. If you're interested in hearing more about them when they come up and this isn't the right time for you, then get on my mailing list and you'll hear about it when it comes up again and again. So thank you so much for listening to this. I'd love it if you gave me any feedback in the comments about how it impacted you, questions you had, you know, all that sort of thing. That would be great. And if you feel like subscribing to my YouTube channel, wherever that button is, please do. All right, take care. Bye-bye.